You may notice that my Stratios looks a little bit more different today. That's because I have the tungsten nanocore equipped. Now, I found this nanocore in my old home system, in my old home station, and I thought that I sold this nanocore, but it turns out that I didn't sell it. So I did pick it up, and here it is, equipped on the ship with the same good old stat. The tungsten nanocores are really good. They can be quite expensive on the market, but thankfully I had this core just laying around for a very long time. Let me quickly show you the stat. I did pick the drone damage bonus on this core. However, you have a armor bonus and a flight velocity bonus. All of the stats on this nanocore are pretty useful and pretty good for this ship. I might try out the extra armor or extra flight velocity, but for now I will use the extra drone damage. Should be a very nice improvement in the drone DPS on the Stratios. 649.02 is the current DPS on the ship, which is actually a nice little improvement. I thought about using faction drones, but quickly gave up on that idea because I would probably lose them in my first fight. This is practically the default build that I use on the Stratios. I use this ship for tackle or for solo PvP. So far, triple scrammers have proven themselves to be pretty good and pretty useful. Now, as for the rigs, I will equip tier 4 rigs on the Stratios. The problem is that there aren't many tier 4 rigs out there. Now, I think I will keep this current layout on the ship even with tier 4 rigs. Basically, one rig integration with tier 4 rigs and 2 normal tier 4 rigs, which should be a nice improvement in overall resistance and survivability on this ship. 60, 60, 61 and 57%, which is, I think, very well balanced. Let me quickly go and show you the tier 4 armor rigs. Now, currently, as you can see here, there aren't any tier 4 armor rigs on the market at the moment. They are still quite rare, and overall you will not find a lot of them at this current state. Hold a second, those were the structure, the hull rigs. These are the armor rigs. Oh, my apologies. I messed up the defensive rig window. Okay, well, I think it's actually the same thing for hull and armor rigs. Yep, no tier 4 rig on the market. Well, I guess we just have to wait for a little bit longer. Now, as for the integrations, I might use the 2P 80% integration. I have that on the Ashimu. However, the new 3P and 4P rig integrations are also pretty good, and I have a couple ships that will use them. Perhaps the Ortus will be one of them, I don't know. I messed up the rigs on the Ortus a lot last time, so still have to basically decide on what I will do with that faction cruiser. Now, as for the other different builds for PvP, especially for solo PvP that you might use, if you have full rig integrations on this ship that focus on armor repair and armor resistance, you can do a build with a large armor repair. It should technically be better than dual medium armor repairs, but it requires a lot of very expensive rig integrations. Basically a similar build that I have on the Hyperion. That's basically the idea behind that build, but in my case I still prefer to use dual armor repairs because they are easy on the capacitor and overall they repair pretty quickly. Now, if you want to use this ship for medium range combat, then you should use dual points and one web with the scanner, or dual webs, depends on what type of tactic you like to use. However, the problem with this build is that most ships have stabs, so you have to be lucky to stumble upon a ship that doesn't have 4 points of stab. And of course, the main weapon with such a build would be rapid missiles or the normal medium missiles, because they have around 27.95 kilometer range, while rapid missiles will have around 20 kilometer range, which is still pretty nice if you plan to stay out of the scrambler and web range on most ships. But I like to use this ship with triple or dual scramblers. Sometimes I swap that one scrambler into another web. That's if I have to engage a fast target or a target with a lot of webs. I also like to use the large Nosferatu to maintain the capacitor of this ship, which so far works really well. Haven't had a problem with the large Nosferatu on the Stratios up until this moment. Works really well. And well, this is practically the build that I mostly use on this ship. The Stratios has a pretty nice power grid, definitely a lot better power grid than the Ortus. Alright, well, I think it's time to undock, and it will be time to look for some targets. Let's see how the Stratios will perform. Okay, now let me start with something funny. I have 2 prophecies that I'm going to scout before I decide to engage. Okay, there are the prophecies, they are in a fleet, and there is around 10 drones. Okay, that's a lot of drones. That's a lot of angry drones, so I have to be careful.
Warp drive active.
The closest warp-in should be from that anomaly, and I should warp to around 80 or 100 kilometers. We will see what I will do. Alright, I am warping back. I have engaged 1 prophecy, but those 2 prophecies have something in mind, and I think I might be in trouble here. Looks like the prophecies are also approaching me. Now I'm trying to keep distance because those 2 prophecies seem to... Okay, 1 prophecy actually did burn towards me. Okay, have been webbed. And I think it will be time to warp out. Those 2 prophecies have both micro drives, and they don't like this Stratios. So let's warp to the sun at 100.
Warp drive active.
Well, that was interesting. Well, I guess today I am going to start the solo roam with a fail. It happens, it's okay. This is one of the moments where I should have used a micro warp drive just to be able to maintain the distance.
Warp drive active.
And that was a situation where if I used the long range disruptors, I would be able to stay a lot longer against those 2 battlecruisers. Alright, well, let's go towards the next target. We have another prophecy. Today I have seen a lot of drone boats, and this prophecy has faction drones. This is a excellent warp-in. Basically I can decloak and engage the target immediately. Prophecy has been scrambled. Now I will proceed to orbit at 0. I have been webbed. Okay. This prophecy is a armor tank. I don't think that they have a nanocore, but I might be wrong. Now the faction drones have engaged my ship. My shield is going down. Time to use the armor repairs. Faction drones have a lot of DPS and they can be quite scary. Okay, let's open the anomaly overview just in case. Prophecy is now in the hole. I am at 62%, 70% armor. The ship should hold out until the prophecy is destroyed. I think this prophecy had a DPS build, because those drones do a lot of damage. And nice, that's some nice loot from the prophecy. I got 3 out of 5 faction drones. Definitely a nice catch. Now let's
Warp drive
out
active.
and let's cloak. Okay, let me show you the kill. Not bad, 754 million ISK prophecy. A pretty solid kill, and I think I got the most valuable stuff from the prophecy, so that was a very nice catch. Around, I would say around 300 million ISK, maybe 350 million ISK from that one battlecruiser.
Warp drive active.
Let's warp towards the next target. We have one stabber fleet. They have logged out at the gate, and you have around 30 seconds to scan a target that logs out in space before the ship actually disappears. And since I had a lot of practice with scanning, I can scan most ships that log out at the low sec gate. And this stabber fleet had a very nice looking nanocore, so perhaps this stabber fleet might be expensive, we will see. I will orbit at 0. The ship will not disappear as long as you keep shooting at it. So you have a lot of time to destroy a ship if you scan them when they log out. Let's take a look at the wreck. Well, not bad. Some C-type modules, not bad. Let's take range and let's cloak. As you can see, ships that get destroyed while being logged out don't disappear completely after you destroy them. They explode when the player logs in the game. Okay, let's warp out and I will take a look
Warp drive
at the kill. Well, not bad. Some C-type modules, some blueprints, overall a nice kill. Next target we have another prophecy. The prophecy is one of the
Warp drive
most
active.
popular ships for missions. It's cheap, it's pretty good, pretty tanky, and has very nice DPS. Although it is a little bit slow. I think that's the only downside of a prophecy. Okay, they are at around 60-70 kilometers from the mission, so that means I will warp to the station and then I will warp back to the prophecy. I will warp close so that I can easily tackle. Orbit is set at 0. Let's prepare to warp. I warp at 50, just because I have that feeling that I might miscalculate the distance.
Warp drive active.
At 50 I should land close to the prophecy, in close proximity. Okay, the prophecy is 30 kilometers away from my current location. That's because they did move. They're really not exactly aligned with the station, and it looks like this prophecy has the Blood Raider nanocore. Okay, interesting. So I can expect the prophecy to use a Nosferatu or neutralizer. But I have one large Nosferatu, so my capacitor should be in a very good state. And this prophecy is actually orbiting, or they are manually piloting around. Or perhaps they are keeping the ships at range. Not really sure, but in any case they are moving away from me. And I have to slowly approach this ship. "24 kilometers. I will engage the prophecy when I'm close to the prophecy. The prophecy has no shield. Okay, that's good. You can actually check the status of your target while being cloaked by attempting to lock on them, and then you can actually see how much shield or hull they have, which is a nice little trick that I use for a very long time with covertop ships. Okay, the drones are far away from the prophecy, which means that the drones will not decloak me. 17 kilometers. Slowly approaching. I think the prophecy changed the orbiting direction, and now they're actually heading towards me, or perhaps they are approaching the other ships. I use the other pirate ships as camouflage while I tackle. They should not notice that there is a Stratios lurking around until they start taking damage, which gives me enough time to orbit at 0. The prophecy has been webbed by the elite ship. That did help me to approach a little bit faster. Although the pirate ships now decided to make me the primary target, which is okay. Prophecy in 50% armor. The prophecy started to shoot my drones. Very glad that I don't use faction drones on this ship. The prophecy has webbed me, okay. And I have been scrambled as well, or pointed. Dual webs, one large Nosferatu and one scrambler. That's basically the equipment the prophecy is using. Now the elite ships have decided to web me instead of the prophecy, and that did slow me down quite a bit. So now the prophecy is actually taking range. I think they're using an afterburner, and they're slowly burning away from my scramblers. But I think I have the chance to scramble the prophecy again once the webs stop working, because their range on the webs will be around 13 kilometers. So if my theory is correct, I will be able to scramble the prophecy again in just a moment. The prophecy is trying to walk away. Let me quickly try to tackle again. Okay, prophecy has been scrambled for a second time. They are in low hull, repairing armor slowly, but I am going through the tank without any problem. The prophecy has webbed me again, but it's too late to burn away from my webs, so the prophecy is going down. And the prophecy has been destroyed. Nice. That was a very nice fight, and of course some nice loot as well. Let's warp out. Well, that prophecy almost escaped the scramblers because I was scrambled by the
Warp drive
by
active.
the other pirate ships. I was actually webbed and scrambled by the other pirate ships. So that was fun. Now let's take a look at the kill. Not bad. I got the C-type medium missile launchers. And the prophecy had the Blood Raider veteran nanocore, which is pretty nice. And overall a very nice kill. Okay, let's
Warp
go
drive
towards
active.
the next target. Now this time we don't have a prophecy. We have one oracle that is sniping, and I am moving to the position. Against sniper battlecruisers, it is recommended to use at least one web because some of them have webs as well. So you want to make sure that you can
Warp drive
orbit
active.
around them. You don't want to give them a chance to get a good angle on your ship because these things can do a lot of damage. So in this case I will use a web and triple scramblers for a sniper battlecruiser, especially against the Oracle, which has pretty good tracking. I know the Apocalypse Striker can hit you if you're close with the beam lasers, and the Oracle is similar to that. So that one web should allow me to orbit around
Warp
that
drive
ship,
active.
even if they have dual webs. But we will see if they have any webs on their ship. Orbit set at 0, approach is also set at 0. There's the Oracle, slowly approaching it now. There is no better warping, this is practically the best warping that I have. Now one thing that I noticed with the latest patch, sometimes your corp mates will not appear in the invite to squad list even though they are in local or they are active in the game. So not quite sure why that's the case, but yeah. Sometimes when you're trying to invite someone in the squad or in the fleet, it's not going to work. Okay, well, I am slowly approaching the prophecy. I'm slowly approaching the Oracle, my apologies, not a prophecy. We had a lot of prophecies today. "20 kilometers from the Oracle. They don't seem to be aligned and they don't seem to be moving. So this is going to be a very easy tackle. But since this is a Oracle, I will tackle, I think, at around 10 kilometers, which should give me enough time to orbit at 0 in case they decide to lock me on quickly. Which can happen because only 2 pirate ships are currently in the mission, so they will definitely notice the Stratios close to them when I go and engage. 8 kilometers, okay, 7 kilometers, let's tackle. Okay, 5 kilometers will enter the 0 kilometer orbit in couple moments. Oracle trying to burn away and warp away, but it's not going to work. Oracle has locked me on, okay. Let's see if they have webs. I think they do. Although they have one target painter, so they don't have any scrammers or points. Dual webs, okay. And even with dual webs, I will orbit the Oracle faster than they can keep me at range, so they will not do any damage to my ship, at least not any significant damage. Oracle in around 45% armor. It seems like they have one armor repairer, not quite sure if it's a medium or large armor repair. I would say a medium armor repair because it seems like they don't repair a lot every cycle. Oracle in low armor, soon to be in hull. Oracle now taking hull damage. So far the Oracle did not do any damage to me. And the Oracle is destroyed. Nice. That was a very nice target. And of course some very nice loot. That's how you go and engage a sniper battlecruiser that has webs. Okay, now let's warp away, let's cloak, and I will show you the
Warp drive active.
kill. Not bad. They had a micro warp drive, okay. One reactive and one adaptive armor hardener, which so far I think was a pretty solid build. Alright, well, that was a very nice roam with the Stratios. Overall, a very good solo PvP ship. Very good solo ship for hunting, and overall I enjoyed the Stratios a lot. Still plan to get the upcoming nanocores. I have no idea what type of nanocores we will get, so I really hope that they end up being pretty good, because I think I want to push the performance on the Stratios just a little bit more up. And with that being said, hope that you enjoyed. Stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.